EEARTS family, he did that thing to me again.
Sorry, guys. I just like to just.
And I'm going to tattle on him every time he does that.
Well, hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. And honestly, guys, I got to get this out there. This is our Earth Changes update. But there's a lot of stuff going on geopolitically that is just showing that we are not in status quo anymore.
No, we're not. Things are really breaking up.
And I think we'll try to get an update up in a manner that which we could talk about it, which you know how things are.
Yeah, I think updates are good today.
So today is the day not only of the election process, but where the electors are checking in, but also of the solar eclipse in South America.
I know, and we have some shaking going on.
We do have shaking going on, as you guys could see the eclipse here. And again, what's the significance of an eclipse astrologically?
Well, astrologically, it brings great change. It can put light on a subject. It can reveal hidden things.
Yeah, and as I've shared with you guys, we see things in different ways. Like Cindy gets things that I feel are just so clear. And a lot of times I get little blasts or glimpses that later on I just come to understand, wow, that was actually really clear too, but I just didn't perceive it at first. So what they had told me was December 17th through 21st, great changes, but the changing of the guard is what they told me. The changing of the guard. And they said 17th through 21st. And, we're going to have to see how that comes out. It's interesting, too. There is that particular act that we talked about. And also the law that went in 2018, and I'm going to get back to this, Earth changes, that there's a 45-day period from 11/3 in which things have to be enacted. So curiously enough, I think that's going to take us into that time frame. We only have like 3 more days or 4 more days. So then what they told me seems to make more sense, and the eclipse, it changed. Massive changes are underway. We've talked about Edgar Casey, talking about Vesuvius and Pele. Pele's, the warning, the watch out there about Pele, it's at yellow level now, and I'm really watching that one because he talked about when these things happen at the same time, then you only got like 3 months before the major changes start to roll in with Japan and California. And you see here a strong explosive eruption at Etna in Italy.
Yeah, I mean, that looks really scary.
And this one ejected ash up to 16,000 feet, and the aviation color code was raised to red. And there was a lot of tremors there. We see increased activity with strong ash fall, and this is in Guatemala. And this one went up to 10,830 feet. It's when you have those big ones like we had about a week ago where they go up to 50,000 feet. Those can produce cooling, and we are going to eventually, it's cold. It's been cold. We're not used to where we are. We're not used to like a southern Colorado winter at all. But, I have spent winters in Ohio. That was pretty cold as well. And Cindy grew up in Idaho, right on the Canadian border.
Yep, sure did.
But it feels cold to us. And we also have a 6.0. It was called a 6.1 by some sources. This hits the Chile-Bolivia border at intermediate depth. So I feel like this is the energy that we saw transfer previously, and it just, it keeps transferring because we had those other 2 6s, and we had said, look for either the Pacific Ridge or it's going to go to this area, and this is where it did go. So thank you, Dutch, for teaching us how to do that. And as you see, feet of snow forecast to pound northeast midweek, with the west on track for a Christmas burial.
Oh my gosh, the wording.
Yeah, right? So you have a major nor'easter that's going to barrel through the mid-Atlantic to the northeast starting on Wednesday, bringing with it heavy blowing snow. Although the NWS has yet to issue specific snowfall predictions, the weather models and some private forecasting companies, including AccuWeather, have predicted as much as 2 feet, pounding U.S. states of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, beginning Wednesday, the 16th. We are in for some incredible times, guys. I hope you guys checked out our first video. We got a clear message from the Galactics and the Pleiadians.
Yeah, we got some information coming in there. So everybody, it's really time to prepare on many different levels.
Yeah, Laurel came across in a very, very somber tone, today. Just very serious, so keep your vibes high. That is the most important thing in these challenging times, because it is going to be challenging. It's been a few years since New Jersey has seen a storm that could bring this much snow, says Patrick O'Hara, a meteorologist with the NWS in Mount Holly. It hasn't been this bad in a while. So, that's going to be developing. Meanwhile, in the West, we're looking at heavy snow burying much of the western half in the U.S. over the next 10 or so days. And we did get some snow, and we have a chance for more snow incoming. Substantial totals are forecast to hit the mountain states this weekend, while every western state can expect to receive some powder as well. And this is the watchers talking about that same event. And we see those purple places here. It could be really heavy, guys.
Burr.
Yeah, this is a well, we're not even in winter yet, but we do have a lot of snow building. And here you see Wolf Creek over 100 inches. This is in Colorado as well. Since late October, if you're a skier, you love it. With us, it's a double-edged sword, because I'd rather be on the beach in normal times in Florida, yet I really love being in the mountains with the snowfall too. I like them both. I do like them both, but I find the extreme cold a little bit harder to tolerate.
I do. I find it a little difficult. Hard on the bones.
Historic snows hit Tulsa, Oklahoma as well. The Arctic is sinking south. At least 5 inches of snow blanketed Tulsa on Sunday. Accumulations from the NWS have been confirmed as record-breaking in Oklahoma. And, if we ever get a chance, we plan on getting out and doing an Ozark trip to scout the area, because we never, I've driven through, but haven't really explored.
Yeah. Well, we want to go in there.
We want to go exploring.
Yes.
Plus, we're crazy kids that love to hunt Bigfoot.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. We both have that passion. That's one of the things I love. As soon as the snow falls, it's like you can see what's out there.
I know.
And we were tracking bobcats yesterday, and a couple days before that, we saw mountain lion tracks. Lots of deer, of course, and tons of bunnies. But it's just fun. And severe storm brings massive rains to Queensland, New South Wales, and Australia. How many roads have we seen washed away? How many bridges have we seen washed away? How about 29 inches of rain, 72 hours?
That's pretty incredible.
The extremes get more extreme. And this is what we've been talking about. So if you're in an area that's been really suffering from flooding, getting very, very hard hit, you got to think about it, because it's going to probably just keep getting more intense for the appreciable future.
Yeah, it will be. So just be prepared all the time.
And so a king tide combined with heavy rain, strong winds, causing a mass rain event up the east coast. Waves are breaching shoreline barriers in Cleveland and Wynnum and Brisbane's Bayside as well. Water running over the roads into front yards. And there again, pick your poison, because in the West, you got a drought, and we got wildfires every year that get worse and worse and worse. And then, and as far as the U.S. goes, the East is more prone to flooding, especially along the coastlines. But, as we saw with Nebraska and Iowa, doesn't have to be along the coastlines. And eventually the Mississippi River, if Edgar Casey's right, it's going to be at least, more of an inland sea.
Yeah, it will be huge.
Tropical cyclone Yasa expected to make landfall, and this is in Fiji. This is the first named storm of the 2020-2021 South Pacific cyclone season. And so this one right now is maximum sustained winds between 100 miles an hour and 120 miles an hour with some gusts there. So this is a serious storm heading towards Fiji. And one of the things I was going to mention too is like earthquake-wise, it seems a little too quiet around Japan. You know, and Casey said it was going to all kick off really with Japan and then roll to U.S. East Coast.
Yeah, it will. And let's just send all of our good positive intentions that way.
Yes. And we see hundreds of endangered seals mysteriously found dead on the shores of Russia's Caspian Sea. Nobody knows why. Way too many of these massive die-offs of so many different creatures. And you know, often it's the case of pollution, or you know, perhaps there's some Fukushima. You know, if we're talking on the Pacific, and then of course, you know, we got so much plastics in the ocean that's mind-boggling, and that's really affecting whales and the bigger animals.
I know. Whenever I see this, I just get so sad.
It's horrible, and it is very, very sad. So, guys, as always, we want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Make sure you're subscribed and click the bell to both channels. Stay prepared out there. Stay safe. Today's going to be a busy day. We'll probably be back a couple more times. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.